Hello, welcome to EURACTIV Poland's European Parliament interview series. My name is Karolina Zbytniewska and I have the pleasure of speaking to Bernd Lange, a member of the European Parliament from Germany, chairing the Committee on International Trade and the Conference of Committee Chairs. Welcome.
Thanks a lot for the invitation.
Our pleasure. What's the future of the deal between the European Union and the United States?
I would say this is not a deal, it's a so-called deal, it's an understanding, and it's a process which is really going on. We are now discussing this in the European Parliament and we will make some amendments. I'm sure that the US Congress, specifically regarding the legal uncertainty in the United States, will make also some attempts to make their point. At the moment, they are discussing the agreement with India and the 50% tariffs to India. So there will be a lot of movement in the next months. Perhaps then, after that, we will have an agreement.
Yes, but where are we now about the agreement at the moment? Because it was taken 2 months ago, yes, and
yeah, the problem is
it binding?
It is not binding, no.
And you are complaining a lot about it. Why?
Because mainly there is no standstill clause in. So there is a possibility specifically that the US side is doing additional tariffs on European products or make any export restriction or whatever. And they did. 2 weeks after this so-called deal, on the 18th of August, they put 407 products containing steel and aluminium out of this 15% baseline tariffs to the steel and aluminium tariffs of 50%. So now motorcycles, windmills...
And business needs stability, which doesn't sound like this deal.
Exactly. So this was a promise by the Commission President, but it is not happened.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think the European Union can balance avoiding the trade war with Donald Trump with safeguarding its own interest?
First of all, the trade war was started by Donald Trump, not by us. We defend our interests. We defending a rule-based trading system. And we will now look to the legislative proposal inside the parliament, but also we will look really quite close to the legal uncertainty in the United States. And we will table some amendments to this so-called deal so that our industry and our consumer are really protected.
Okay, but any concretes about amendments? Because you were telling me before that you were discussing how to fix it. How to fix it?
Now, yeah, listen, the 407 products should come out of this steel and aluminum tariff, and this should be also part of our position of the parliament. We need really a link that if the United States is changing their tariffs or export restriction, that immediately we will have the possibility to lift our position or take the relevant measures. And thirdly, we want really to have a good cooperation with all members of the WTO. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, the deal, the so-called deal, is not compatible with the WTO. Mm-hmm. And I think we should really try to have a better cooperation, specifically with the democratic countries like India, like Brazil, like Indonesia. And we should avoid that they think that we are really trying to get only a specific solution for us towards the United States.
Mm-hmm. Maroš Šefčovič, the Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security, said that he believes that indeed this deal is imperfect. It's not offering stability for the European Union trade and economy. But he also admitted that we actually need this deal. Why do we need the deal with the US?
We need an understanding as a starting point for negotiations. Of course, you are right. I would have a different strategy, but nevertheless, now it's there, and we have a starting point for negotiations. And this we should use an uncertain situation without any concrete basis for negotiation is really even worse. So I'm not happy with the so-called deal. I would really have a different strategy, a different tactic. But nevertheless, now it's there, and now it's really our duty to improve it.
EU exports to China shrunk by over 50% very recently, but also this strange not done deal yet with the United States will further endanger the car industry of the European Union. Is the European Union Mercosur deal a solution that has been overseen by the European Union?
First of all, regarding China, we have to look really carefully that they are sticking to fair competition. So if not, we have to introduce anti-subsidies, anti-dumping measures. We are looking also quite carefully now after this measures from the United States that products from China and from other countries will come instead of the US market to the European market under unfair conditions, so that we have the possibility to establish a safeguard. So this is the one side of the medal. And then, we need really a lot of trade agreements in fair partnership with a reliable partner. And of course, the Mercosur is really one of the most important 260 million people country in really development and a lot of links to the European Union. Therefore, yes, we should do it. And we should do the deal with, the agreement with Indonesia as quick as possible. It will be concluded in 2 weeks. I guess also for the Indo-Pacific region, Indonesia is an important country. Yes, we want to stabilize a rule-based system with a lot of fair partnership with a reliable partner.
You know, I represent the Polish medium, EURACTIV Poland, and I observe that not everyone is very happy with the European Union's trade agreement with Mercosur. It's one of the major arguments is that it actually will benefit some industries, for example, German car industry, but at the same time it will harm some other kinds of human activity, economic activity, especially farming and farmers, so especially in Poland and in France. So how would you respond to that? And also, wouldn't it be possible to decouple this into 2 deals? Because they seem to benefit some and make matters worse for the others.
If this would be the case, yes. But first, there is a comprehensive approach, because also there's an offensive interest by the Mercosur countries on the agricultural side. Secondly, at the moment, European farmer and processor have a surplus in trade from 70 billion euros. So European farmer and processor exporting much more than they import, and mainly based on trade agreements. So milk products, cheese, wine is really getting in better export possibilities.
But it's not the Polish produce.
So, but of course, I guess also in some question
the beef, poultry.
Beef, poultry, even on poultry.
Is another case.
Poultry, they have additional opportunities. Certainly, we have a lot of safeguards. We have a specific legislative act to establish safeguard if there is really a specific danger or a specific competition threat from the import of the Mercosur countries. Secondly, we have an understanding that we discussed also the production process with the Mercosur country, not only the standard for import. We increased the control mechanism at the border, and certainly also we have established some compensation financially if there is a threat on specific sectors. And of course, main A problem might be occur in the meat production of beef, so 99,000 ton, more or less tariff-free. This is about 1.2% of the consumption at the moment. I don't think that's really a major threat, but we are prepared to have this safeguard situation. And fourthly, I, of course, aware about the situation in Poland. And I am quite convinced that there was a mix between Mercosur and the situation of agricultural products coming from Ukraine. And now we have a new, quite strict regulation towards the Ukraine on wheat, on sugar, on other products, so that this front, I guess, is solved. And perhaps now we can discuss on facts and figures with the farm sector in Poland as well.
Very small last point. Sorry for this. According to the research by one of the Polish banks, PKO, actually Poland is to lose the most. Its agriculture will be so much affected that we will lose on that around 40% versus of what we managed to achieve today. And this is an argument that is being sold by politicians to the society, you know, to sow divisions, further divisions. So how would you respond to people who hear about this data?
So we will first analyze the study. I didn't know the study, but I am convinced that in the agricultural sector there are also opportunities for farmers and the processors. And secondly, of course, it is not just only the export and the import with Mercosur. Of course, the market inside the European Union is so big, so that also Polish producers have a big possibility to be competitive inside the European market. But let's go really to facts and figures. I'm from Lower Saxony, also a region in Germany with a big agricultural sector, more than 130,000 people working there. And I discussed this quite lengthily. Really, each product, is it cheese, it's milk, is it wheat, it is poultry, what is the situation, where is the market, and what risk and what chances we will have. And this should be done in the next 3 months.
Mr. Bernd Lange, thank you so much for the conversation.
Pleasure. Thanks a lot.